Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Welcome to our forum. We are blessed to be here today to witness a forum entitled Students are Becoming Too Dependent on Technology. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone for being here today, our honorable panel, ladies and also gentlemen. Our topics today will be discussed by our professional experts. So before the forum begins, let me introduce myself first. So I am Nur Fatina Zura binti Muhammad Rafi Basu, your moderator for today's forum. Next, let me introduce you to our dedicated panel. Our first panel is Nik Nur Nabila binti Nik Muhammad Hadri. She is a sociologist in Hospital University Kebangsaan Malaysia, HUKM. So how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Alright. Our second panelist is Fatinanda binti Siddiq Ali. So she is one of the student representatives. How are you today, panel 2?
I'm good, thank you.
So the third panelist will be Aumi Nazifa binti Muhammad Zakri. She is a lecturer in Faculty of Education in Sultan Idris Education University, UPSI. How are you today, madam?
I'm fine, thank you for asking.
So I have introduced all of our panelists. Let's begin the forum. As we all know, we live in a world where technology is widely used. So some people argue, there are people that argue that technology is taking over our lives and gives many negative effects to students. So now I would like to ask a question to our first panelist. Sociologists usually conduct interviews for their research. So maybe based on the research that you may have done regarding our topic and issue today, why do you believe that technology nowadays do gives negative impact towards the students' education?
So thanks to the moderator and the question. So from the research that I've done, technology is actually giving a negative effect towards the student education. For example, deterioration of students' competencies in reading, writing and arithmetic. These three components are important for a student to master. When the students cannot master on this aspect, it affects on their learning process. From my research, Bruno Wiki adopts a similar viewpoint, namely that students have become lazy because of their heavy daily reliance on technology. The problem is even worse in primary school, where students are overwhelmed by technology, especially smartphones, which finally leads their use of grammar to be negatively affected in their sentences. Next, the dehumanizing effect of technology. When most of the people on the world spending their time on technology, their life seems to be controlled by the gadgets and does not have connection towards other people. In example, higher education institution and in online courses, for instance, teachers present their lesson from afar and students are required to interact with the machines rather than with human beings. The ultimate result is a teacher who does not know anything or very little about his or her students, and students cannot show any relationship with their teachers. And lastly, is aspect of technology and isolation. Okay, the students like to use technology in their life. Therefore, they will be isolated and not used to connect to other people. For example, online. We use fine company but are exhausted by the pressure of performance. We enjoy continual connection but rarely have each other attention. For example, when we having an online discussion, we can be easily distracted by other things, such as notification from our friends or such social media such as Instagram or Facebook. So we are not giving 100% focus on the discussion or presentation. So it may affect on our performance of education. Therefore, when there will be an exam or study group, these kind of students will feel isolated because they feel they are knowing nothing because of the distraction, which is they not giving 100% focus on this presentation or discussion. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Amis. So after listening to this, I strongly believe that technology does give negative impacts in education because it can somehow distract students often that make the student to not focus during classes. Moving on, this topic mainly focusing on students. So panel 2, you as a student yourself understands this issue more than anybody else. So do you think that the technology that we have right now is somehow useful and appropriate for you to study well?
Thank you for the question. Actually, I'm absolutely believe that technology is useful, especially for students in aspect of education. In my opinion, students will be better if they use technology properly in their life. It can improve their study and also they can get good result in examination. Is it because by using technology, students can find any information needed to complete their work? For example, students can use Google search to find extra fact and detail to complete their homework. By only depending on the notes in the book, it is actually waste a lot of time because we need to see and find the information needed one by one and check every pages to get the point. I believe in the notebook, all the information we can find is not too detailed compared to what written in the website. Is it because not in the books are too simple and not enough to explain everything? So by using Google, we can get a lot of information and gain more knowledge about some topic. Students can also use YouTube to find their own learning videos or notes to gain more knowledge and understanding. Learn in the class is actually not enough. It is because in the class we have limited time to learn. Teacher in the classes just explain the important keyword and point to make sure the student get all the important point. Um, Students can learn by themselves by using YouTube as a virtual tutor, then only depending to the teacher in the class. In conclusion, as a student, we should improve ourselves to get more knowledge and understanding about every topic. Hence, every question that may be asked from the teacher or friends can be answered easily due to our extra understanding we get from the technology. So from what I explained before, I believe that technology is useful and appropriate for me and other students to study well. That's all from me.
Thank you, panel 2, for the brief explanation. I also agree that technology is needed in this world as as the students have limited time in class, as you said earlier. And we do have some sources that can be trusted to do research regarding our homeworks or assignments, and thus it can improve students' performance in class. So moving on to hear from our lecturer's perspective. As the lecturer yourself, which situation do you prefer? What I mean is that do you prefer conducting classes through online platforms that we have right now, such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Meets, or do you prefer teaching face to face in a classroom?
Well, thank you for the questions, our moderator. Well, in my view, I would prefer to teach in the classroom rather than through media platform. It is good to give early exposure regarding blended learning to students. However, I would rather to be teaching in the classroom, facing my student face to face, and also have direct two-way communication, so that I know if they are really listening to me or having their mind somewhere else, and it will be easier to help them in their understanding towards. Sometimes some of them prefer to ask in person rather than in message, since some of the topic are really hard to explain. So they know their limits and ability to understand the topic and they can improve for the next class. Compared to directly using online learning, introduce the student with technology slowly during traditional class would be one of the nice way to introduce the student with technology in education. For example, we have Kahoot to make the class to be more fun and improve my students' understanding at the same time. Actually, it is not that I totally oppose the use of media platform in my teaching, but for me personally, media platform hardly demonstrate my student on how to interact and socialize with other people. By facing each other, it is good for their social and emotional development.
Even few researchers have reported that excessive use of technology can impact behavioral and psychological of the students since they having no interaction. So it might lead to anxiety, nervousness, and worry. Other than that, some of students learn better with their friends in person, and by totally using technology for learning, it might affect their academic performance. Furthermore, by totally changing teaching and learning process using online, it will give big impact to the students who already struggle during in-person classes, since many things will need to change and the process of teaching and learning will be almost different. So that's all from me. Thank you.
I strongly agree with Madam Auni's opinion because for me as a student, it might be easier to ask a question directly to the teacher compared to using an online platform because sometimes the teacher doesn't have time to scroll down the chat or open the message. And personally, I feel more comfortable to ask directly compared to chat the teacher.
Thank you, Madam Auni. So actually, both situation has positive and also negative outcomes, and all students should take note that lecturers actually prefers conducting classes in classroom. And thank you, panel 2 as well. So let's move on. So today our lives are far more convenient and easy with everything we need at our fingertips because we have such an invention, a great invention such as the internet and mobile phones that changed the world. So I have another question to ask to panel 1, which is our Miss Nick. So we have discussed the negative impact of technology earlier. So what do you think about the positive impact of technology in education?
So thank you for the question. Even though for the first place I've mentioned about the negative impact of technology on education, therefore it still give a positive impact towards the education. For example, technology plays an important role in everyone's life. Several manual tasks can be automated thanks to technology. Also, many complex and critical processes can be carried out with ease and greater efficiency with the help of modern technology, which means by having technology nowadays, our tasks or our jobs can be easily done, and it might be more it can make the process of having done the job will be smooth. And then next, um, I believe that transfer of knowledge becomes more easy and convenient as well as effective when aided by technology. It is because the reliance and dependence of such an innovation that simply makes life an easy, smooth journey is completely unavoidable this day, even in schools, university, and colleges. For example, um, when we are study, we might have some question about our studies, or maybe we have something that unclear. So we can directly use Google or something that can give our question to be answered. For example, Google. We can type the question that we have been asked to ourselves, and then we can gain opinion and some new knowledge from the Google itself. So I believe that actually technology give positive impacts towards the education also. Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt, Miss Nick. Um, well, I can. Miss Nick really got a good point over there. But if I may add some of the benefit from my point of view as a lecturer, technology for me is really function to assist teachers and the student, where it helps us to monitor student performance, and also it helps us to estimate their skills. And what I can see when my students really use technology at the maximum potential, it enhances their ability to solve the problem, it enhances the communications between them, and also it enhances the skills to collaborate between them. So I can say that technology really help my students to maintain their careers in the future. So as Miss Nick has said before, if a good use of technology can increase the knowledge, because students like literally they are so curious, so they they will directly Google something that interests them. So that's all.
Yes, it is true that we can multitask because we have technology nowadays, and knowledge can be gained and can also be transferred easily at our fingertips. Okay, so yeah, I also agree with Madam Auni. So we move on to our panel two. If I may ask, in your opinion, how has technology improved in education?
I believe that technology helps students to get more information through media, social, and other. It gives students immediate access to an abundance of quality information that leads to faster learning process rather than before. Students are able to find more useful information not only from what are stated in the books, but they also can use Google. If they only use book, it will take more time because we need to find the information one by one. We all know that in the notes book there is many information provided, so it's hard to find what we needed first. From Google, we just search what we want to find, and the information will appear. Not only one by but more. At the same time, students can get more knowledge that are missing from the notes or book. Since a lot of time is saved during research, students are able to incorporate a lot of information and knowledge in their project. It will be the most obvious benefit that students can get from the technology during their studies. Technology also give the effective assessment between student and teachers. There is software available which is teacher can give or receive assessment of their study in real time. Teacher can provide and collect assignment and tasks easily while student can submit it online without delay the due date. In computer, teacher can provide all the guideline and information how to do their assessment. Students are able to open and do their assessment in any time due to the phone that we had every time wherever we go. Um, it is better to save all the tasks in the soft copy compared to the hard copy. For example, like our situation in COVID-19 right now. We have UKM Folio that facilitates students to submit all the assignment that needed before the end of the due date. Due to this, student and instructor throughout Malaysia use this method to conduct teaching and learning online, especially in this pandemic. This is better because it can save time and energy and also save our life from COVID-19. So the example that I have given explain and prove that in education we need technology to improve the study, especially in assessment, assignment, tasks, and other. And lastly, technology can improve the teaching and learning skill. Technology has proved to be a helping hand for teachers who sometimes find it hard to explain certain things within the boundaries of a physical classroom. Um, Teachers are able to prepare their lesson in a more strategical manner by including different types of tag, activity model, and interactive control for students. Teacher can share any link from YouTube or any appropriate website to the student to gain a better understanding about the topic. Sometimes it's hard for teacher to explain clearly in a short time in the classes, so that they can use other options like YouTube to provide knowledge to their students. So when I explained before, this this evidence had proved that technology can improve the student education, especially for students. Alright, that's all from me. Thank you.
Sorry for interrupt. If I may add, for me, technology not just helping the students and the teachers, but it also give us important information such as for nowadays the current situation, which is COVID-19, right? So from the COVID-19 situation, we can gain the information such as the cases each day, like an update from Instagram, and also the KM the website for specialized to COVID-19 itself. So from there, not just student and teachers use the technology itself, but all of the people in the world using that to gain information such as COVID-19 to help to improvise their knowledge towards the current situation and the worldwide cases. So I think technology is actually helping us, not just the students and the teachers, but also every people in the world for this kind of things. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, technology has made things a lot more fun than ever, not gonna lie. And because it allows students to help each other to work together to get a better understanding regarding some topics or subjects. Yeah. So we move on to our lecturer. So in what way do you think that the students misuse technology?
Mm, In my opinion, in using technology for education, there might be a lot of negative possibility that can happen. We all agree that technology is useful in helping both teachers and students, but in certain circumstances, technology can also be misused by students and lead to unethical behavior. As an example, technology can encourage the student to cheat on exam. The exams can be either face to face or online or using online platform. But in either way, the students still can find opportunity to cheat. They even can bring in handphone during exam without no one notice. Not to mention during virtual exams. So in addition, other example that we can see is when the students did their assignments. As educator, I cannot deny that there are students that still obey to the rules, but there are also many of them that misuse technology when they did the assignments that have been given by the lecturers. We can see when they are when they are assigned with mathematics problem as educator, I just want to know how far they understand about what we have learned in class. However, they can simply use an application to settle the problem automatically. The application itself was initially to help the students. However, it has been misused by the students themselves. Thus, it's up to us as educators to be creative with our way to help our students to not be depending too much on technology. Technology can help us, but it also can destroy us if we cannot manage. That's all from me. Thank you.
Yes, cheating is one of the common tricks that students do with technology to get better grades and marks. And because they expect technologies to teach the students, not the teachers. So from here, we are done with the forum. So let me conclude. I have seen and read a lot regarding the negative effect of technology, but after this discussion, I knew that there are also some positive effect of using technology. It is actually likely depends on how one uses it beneficially, and it has become necessary in each and everybody's lives. So concluding that started from the year 2000 to 2010 was a very important decade for technology because it's growing that time, especially on mobile phones and internet. So here are a quotes that related to this issue by Christian Lowes Lange, which is technology is a useful servant but a dangerous master. So from here we can say that students should take the opportunity to use the technology wisely and knows the bad side of technology as well as that might can make us default. So that's all from us. Thank you.